Hi, I'm Marie,
Hey, okay.
Hi, I'm Migs.
and welcome to another episode of Convoluted Convos. Okay, so today we're gonna be answering all of your assumptions and burning questions about pisay. Migs, what does pisay stand for?
Okay, pisay is actually a contraction of PSHS because everyone's lazy like that. And PSHS stands for Philippine Science High School. Amazing.
As the name suggests, pisay is a high school that's more focused on science and STEM, basically.
Well, if you're not familiar, STEM actually stands for science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and was it mathematics? I think it was mathematics.
Yeah, it's
But yes,
mathematics.
Is
basically,
mathematics.
most it has focus on science and like its branches. So that's a branch you take in senior high school when you're deciding where you want to go in life.
Basically, we're required to take a contract saying that pagpasok namin ng high school, STEM agad yung, what do you call it? Track namin. And then we
Yeah.
also have to automatically take a STEM approved major in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I asked some of you guys to submit your questions or assumptions to me on Instagram. We're going to start with this assumption: students who don't have grades below 95 can only get in.
That is wrong. Not
No.
completely wrong, but generally the idea is there. It's just that to take the NCE, which is the test you need then to pass to get to Pisay, you need to satisfy either one of two conditions. Either at least 85% ka sa math and science ng grade 6, or you're in the top 10% of your batch. So either or.
Yeah.
You can be like, you can have a lower grade sa math and science, but you can still be in the top 10% of your batch. Ganun.
Okay, so Mix basically like
Agree.
answered that perfectly. So let's move on to the next one. Basically all of these assumptions are saying that everyone is super smart and we always get things perfectly. Yeah, wait, let's like try to address that first. I think everyone definitely has like a degree of smartness, but honestly, in Pisay, since everyone is kind of like the same level, it really comes down to how hardworking you are because you can be really intelligent, but if you don't manage your time well, or if you slack off on all your requirements, you're really not gonna get high grades.
Obviously, like in the most objective sense that you can say, everyone in Pisay is smart. But you have to realize that since everyone is smart, you can't just like do the same thing you did before high school and still feel the same amount of smartness like in your grade pagdating mo sa Pisay. So like you
Yeah.
really need to realize that you gotta step up if you want to maintain the feeling of smartness. Obviously, everyone's smart, but if to like comparatively, yeah.
So one thing that I've noticed was that basically a lot of the people who are in Pisay, like a lot of them are the type of people who were always the top of their grade or like lagi sila yung overachievers to the point na they don't have to study much dati no elementary. A lot of those people, once they went to Pisay, they realized na that's not a thing that's just gonna happen. So like yeah, what Migs and Mar did say na once you get to Pisay, you really realize that you don't feel smart.
Yeah.
You just need to work hard because
Like
everyone
everything,
is smart. Therefore,
yeah,
nobody
everything's
is smart.
adjusted because everyone
Yeah.
is smart. So you can't just enter Kisai with the same mindset that you had.
Yeah. I think a lot of students fail tests a lot. Like for
Us
example,
included.
me, like
Yeah.
like my first year, I failed math perio, my math periodical exam, and I was like, because like I had never failed before. I was like, I don't know, like I'm so used to it now, but yeah, I wasn't used to it back then, so it really came as a shock. But yeah, you really like get
Yeah.
humbled. It kind of puts puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
Like before I went to Pisay, I never had to study for math. But the moment like I went to Pisay, I got my lowest math grade ever. I got a tres for the first time, which is
Relatable.
Pisay grades converted to non-Pisay grades. It's not like as low as what it is in Pisay, but
Yeah,
the feeling is there where you're like, oh my god, I got that grade.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like, very shocked.
And like that's not to demotivate you or anything if you are in
Mm,
Pasay, because it just means that with the advanced kind of things that you learn in Pasay, you're doing all right technically. So don't feel too pressured about it. Just know that you have to
Yeah.
change your mindset if ever.
Another assumption that I got from you guys was that Pisay students were always like part of the top 10 upcat passers in like the college or something, in the college that you're in, or that the passing rate is
Yeah.
always 100% for the upcat.
There's
For
no
the
way
first
for us
one,
to
yeah,
tell.
yeah, because we don't really know the rankings
Yeah, we
exactly.
don't really
Yeah.
know our rankings, but in some cases, they like some colleges do actually reveal that, and like as long as there's someone, yeah, I think like pretty much there will be someone from Pisay who's like on the in the top 10.
Yeah,
The
But
chances are high, yeah.
yeah,
But
the
there's no
chances
chances
way
are
are
for
high.
us to
high,
know.
but we
Yeah.
don't know specifically. But as for the passing rate, there have been like cases, especially in like the provincial campuses, where they do get 100%.
It's kind of common sense, you know. The less people you
Yeah,
have in a campus, the more
it's
The
likely
more
more
everyone
likely.
likely.
to pass.
Yeah.
That's just it. There's nothing really to read
Yeah.
into about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like in the campus that we're from, main campus, usually it's not 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
kind of
not.
hard to achieve that.
Yeah.
There's like around 240-ish
Yeah,
students per
240 less.
batch. So
The other assumption naman is that there's at least one person from each batch that gets into the Ivy League. And I don't know about like the older batches because I don't like hindi namin naabutan sila. Pero
Yeah,
I think like the batches that we know like 2015, starting from 2015 ba? I don't know.
yeah, like
I guess like
2018,
starting from
2019.
2015, 2018, 2019, I think like at least one, at least in our campus, at
at
least
least
one has
one.
Yeah,
passed the Ivy League. I think like marami nung 2019.
yeah, I think there were a lot
Ivy
It
League.
from
wasn't
the batch above us.
marami.
Because
Yeah,
also,
Yeah.
unlike UP, which all of us are required to take, not everyone is gonna, no, not everyone's gonna apply for like an Ivy League or an abroad school.
quite a few
But
people go abroad though, even though it's not Ivy League. It's like
yeah,
like colleges in Japan. Saan pa ba?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a lot of
yeah.
people
Singapore,
in Japan and America
Singapore,
mainly.
US.
Yeah, Singapore,
Mm.
US. So the next assumption is
Yeah.
that we all always have our S word together.
We have our life together. And I
Yeah,
have to
all of our
say,
life together.
from a personal standpoint, and from what I know of everyone around me in high school, that is completely false.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like I feel like
generally,
I can generally talaga I
yeah,
think
it's like,
everyone is stressed.
yeah, there's just a very permeating aura of stress around you in that school. And I
Yeah.
think
The stress culture.
we have our studies together is just like a smart stereotype.
Yeah. It's not even a precise stereotype, it's a smart
Yeah. But
stereotype.
like
Yeah.
one thing that I've noticed is like the 6 years that we've been in Pisay is that you see someone crying at least once every day.
That is a big mood.
In like the hallway.
In an empty classroom, you'll find like you open the door and like, oh, there's someone crying here. Okay. Or like
Yeah.
you can
We
go to
kind of
like the most far fetched place and you'll find someone sleeping.
we kind of just respect each other's like space. I think though like in Pisay, what's good about it is that you have like a really solid support system. At least most of the time.
Yeah.
Like there's there's the guidance council. And like your friends who are just there to like suffer with you. I think that like really makes a difference.
Like funnily enough, although we all are stressed and that we are very much struggling to stay afloat, we all know that everyone else around us is experiencing the same pain. And while it is still painful, it makes it less painful.
The next assumption is that,
Acads over social life.
yeah, as in like we prioritize ACADS over everything, which is,
Generally fall.
yeah, generally false.
Like I feel like if you were in Pisay, or like around Pisay people and you weren't Pisay, you'd feel that. But we just have a lot of deadlines coming up. But we know when
Yeah.
to like not work and study all the time.
Yeah, at least like us, This is just
Yeah.
like our own experiences. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I know like a lot of people now are like they're still very sociable and they have like a lot of friends outside of Pisay. Yeah, it's definitely not like an ACADS over social life thing. Like definitely, like we said kanina, social life is a really important
Yeah.
aspect of Pisay culture. It helps us stay sane.
Like I think you would hardly ever find even one person who's like a social recluse or something just so that they can prioritize their acads. Like
Yeah.
we all have our own lives. We all live.
Yes, we're still normal people,
Yeah,
like
I
everyone
agree.
else. Like the fact that we're in a science high school doesn't change a lot. You
Other
know,
than
We're just very
other than we're
stressed.
we're more stressed than the average person. Okay, so I've also gotten that the Psy students are very competitive slash intimidating. So about the intimidating part, I think if you're not from a certain school, then naturally you'd find like the other school that you like always hear about
yeah.
like more intimidating. In general, I don't know. That's just
Like regardless of the school,
yeah,
it's always going to be a
yeah,
different culture. So I think naturally any new environment that you are in part of, it's going to be intimidating. Like personally, I don't think anyone feels that much pressure.
yeah. I mean, obviously, we don't know if it's intimidating to other people or not because we're in Pisay. We're actually Pisay
Well, one thing
students.
I did
So
hear
yeah.
though was like, because I have like a cousin who used to go to Kisai,
Mm.
and she told me that Kisai students are intimidating because of the stereotype that we don't have a social life.
Once
Oh,
again, stereotypes.
stereotype. Yeah.
And the same goes for like competitive. I think any competition you'd find in Pisay is just like a friendly thing. It's not anything serious like, oh, you're top 32, I'm top 31. You're going down, bro. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing
No.
like that.
Yeah.
It's just like
Definitely.
the very core of that smart kid nerd trope
Yeah.
applies a lot here
Yeah.
when hardly any of that's true.
Someone said y'all rich, which is how do
It
we answer
has
that?
I think it has some truth to it.
Yeah, it has some truth to it. A lot of people come from like private schools then,
Yeah,
from like
which
private
isn't the
elementary
intended.
schools.
Yeah, which isn't the
Yeah.
intended demographic for Pisay because the
Yeah.
whole purpose of Pisay is to give science education to aspiring scientists, regardless of where you come from or like the kind of education you have. Pisay wants to
Yeah.
bring people with like a natural affinity for science and give them the proper like training to work in a science environment. But
Yeah.
That is true.
because there's not a lot of promotion for science education or science communication in the Philippines.
Mm.
Usually, yung mga private schools lang din yung
Yeah.
nakakarinig ng Pisay. And by extension, mga private school students lang din yung nakakapasok kasi sila rin yung may advantage because
Yeah.
they've had a more proper education.
Like I
Mm.
definitely don't think it's a Pisay thing. I think it's been like a really long time issue.
Yeah.
It's
It's
It,
I
a
don't know. It's just
it's
one
a
of the
education
symptoms.
society talaga.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
been a
that,
problem in the Philippines for the longest
yeah.
time.
Like, not to blame
But
anyone
yeah.
in Pasay. If it's a very telling problem of our science industry in the Philippines that
Yeah.
we don't even get to reach our intended targets and audiences.
But definitely not everyone is
Oh.
like rich or middle class or
Yeah, or
whatever you'd like to
I
call
don't
it.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's here just to be like, oh, I have the prestige of being Pisay student. No.
Yeah, no,
That's not
no.
true.
This is like kind of related to the previous assumption is that we're all scholars, which is true. We
Yeah.
have like free tuition in Pisay. Yeah, that's why yun yung kapalit ng contract. So we get free tuition, but if we don't take a STEM major in college, then we'll
Bye
have
bye
to
money.
we'll have to repay all the tuition.
Is that
Yeah.
all we have for
Yep.
assumption?
Those are all the
Yep.
assumptions. So let's move on to the questions that people have submitted. So the first question is, what's your curriculum and how is it different to the normal curriculum that most high schools have?
Ooh, okay. That is a loaded question.
There's a lot to
Well,
unpack.
one thing that we have to say is like, yeah, since we emphasized a while ago that Pisay is focused on STEM, our curriculum is a very, like, basically it screams STEM at you. We have humanities subjects, but the problem is like our humanities subjects are structured in such a way that they support the STEM part, or at least they're like somehow related to STEM. We have a course that we have to take in grade 11, was it? Called Intelektualisasyon ng Wika, which is like technically science din, pero it's a humanities subject. So we learn it in Filipino, but it's about science. So like that's what we mean by like they support the science part in the end.
Which is expected from a science high
Yeah.
school. Yeah, like we got introduced to biology, physics, chemistry from
Very
grade 8,
Yeah,
which
starting
is
grade
like
eight.
Yeah.
starting from grade 8. Yeah, apart
Um,
from that, in our last 2 years of high school, like grade 11 and grade 12, it's already called SYP. Wait, what does SYP stand for?
specialization years program.
Yes,
Hey.
specialization years
Yeah.
program. And it's basically like where you have to choose a track from like wait, the bio,
Biology,
physics,
chemistry, physics.
chemistry. For the three, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
those
and then
three
there-
you pick, they're your core. So three of us we chose bio as our core.
Bye.
And then we have electives.
like one science
So,
elective.
Yeah, one
and they're
science
like
elective.
different electives. It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like
For
agriculture,
example, yeah. I took like physics
engineering.
and I took physics in grade 11 and then tech in grade 12. So what did you guys take?
I took chemistry for 2 years.
That's why he's a chem god, guys. He's a chem
No,
god.
I'm not. That is a false assumption. Do not listen to her. Do not.
I took chem for in grade 11 and I took tech in grade 12. But I didn't get to finish like the grade 12 thing because of
Same.
the situation. But
Because
hey, I enjoyed grade 11 chem.
it's generally fun.
It helped
Oh, and
me a
then,
lot.
one thing I think I want to add is that because it's so science intensive, you obviously have to like add a humanistic approach, because science without like rationalizing it, thinking like you can't just think everything like about everything at just the hard facts. So it's a good thing that our humanities subjects, it helps like put our science education into application and into purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And another thing that a lot of people like to mention about our curriculum is how it's advanced, which is true to an extent because we're so science focused. A lot of the time that most high schools put into like other education, like the other branches, we put it into science. So we end up studying topics that are like not high school level, which is why a lot of people refer to us as advanced.
I guess that's what I'm thankful for from Pisay, because right now the topics that we're discussing in our like subjects as bio majors, they're stuff that we've already tackled kahit papano sa Pisay.
yeah.
Even though you kind of like forget it, it's still kind of there stored in your
At the
brain.
very least, you'll be very familiar with the things that
Yeah.
you're being.
So the next question, we have. I really like this question. They said, how far beyond does Pisay go when it comes to being proficient in math or science? Aside from the things we said earlier, we have research for like 3 years from grade 10 to 12. And yeah, like along with that comes a lot of opportunities for research competitions, both here and abroad. And I think that really
True.
exposes students to like how research really is
Yeah.
internationally and
Like
nationally.
there's a lot to
Yeah.
unpack there, and I
Yeah.
won't mention the multiple problems we have. I'm kidding, but wait, can I say that? Like
I
they're it's problematic, but at the
Yeah.
very least, kahit papaano, it exposes you to like the research and how it works. Ganon.
Yeah.
And then also
Migs,
like
can you like elaborate on the problematicness of how research is? It's okay. It's not like we're not bashing research. Oh my god, please. If someone is
like
like watching this, nah, research teacher or someone who
or
had like
like
a
an
really
actual
good research.
researcher, we don't
Yeah.
mean any like offense. It's
Yeah.
a
yes,
problem
we do
with
not.
how we perceive research. It's a problem with how research is structured in PSI, I
Yeah.
guess. It kind of
I guess
assumes that because we're in a science high school, that
yeah.
on our first few attempts at like actual real person research, we'll get it right away. And
Yeah.
that we have like already novel ideas, things like that.
Mm.
When, at least personally, I think that a research curriculum should focus on helping you realize where in research you belong and like what you could
Mm.
contribute to in research.
I guess like what happened in our case, like because it's a science high school, somehow they expect a lot out of you. And what
Mm.
happened
Which
in
is
our first
natural.
year of research was basically like, okay, so this is what we don't want to see in your paper. Now give us a paper.
Research in PSI doesn't emphasize the fact that you are allowed to make mistakes.
There's a lot of pressure to get it right kaagad
Yeah, and like
and
there's
to
still
get
like a
it like
time
yeah.
limit.
There's definitely like a time limit then, and like this is all on top of all the other
Yeah,
requirements.
there's a lot
It's a
of
lot of
pressure to like to finish the research rather than master and like improve it along the way.
I do appreciate like how there's research in Pisay. I feel less scared going into like college where we'll have to have like a thesis.
Oh, yeah,
I
Mhm.
mean,
that is
it's
true.
still scary, but it's still far away. But yeah, I
It's
think
far from the perfect
yeah,
research experience, but it's still
mm,
experience, and that an
it's still
experience always
experience.
helps.
Like for example, like I was fortunate enough to be able to take a summer course at Columbia University sa US. And it was basically like a course into neuroscience that had like a requirement of like basic biology and like a little bit of chemistry. And the thing that happened there was our professor would ask things like, who is familiar with this theory? Who's familiar with this concept? And in that entire class of like 30 people from all across the globe, I was the only one who had experience in some of the topics.
That's not to bash them though. It's just like
For no
because
good
we took it
reason.
together. Yeah, we took it
Yeah.
together, right? Okay. But
Yes, we
we
did,
were in
but we weren't
classmates.
classmates.
Yeah. So yeah, we were in New York together. Check the video out. That was like the first video that I posted on this channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
for
yeah.
yeah.
like a summer immersion program. And basically the topics there were pretty advanced. Like I feel like I wouldn't have gotten them if I didn't have like the background that I had.
Long story short, it definitely goes far.
Yes. Yes. Okay, someone asked then like for like scale tips. I'm assuming this person is from Pisay as well. And scale is basically like a thing that we're required to do. It's like a requirement to graduate. Wait, what does scale stand for?
Service,
Service, creativity,
creativity,
action,
action,
Action.
leadership,
leadership.
and
No, leadership.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just
just
like
leadership.
It's like
Yeah.
a thing where you look for like you propose an activity of your own to fulfill those four strands. It's there to supposedly help. How do you say
Uh,
it? To help
it's like to make the
enrich.
students more well-rounded, I
Yeah,
guess.
for more holistic
Yeah.
development.
So like
Wow.
Yeah.
not all science. Yeah, we're like encouraged to do something that like we like personally.
Mm.
But yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you want to do or
Yeah.
whatever you can do.
Yeah.
So I guess tips. What
I
tips
guess
do
like
we
the
have?
only the main tip that I have is to make sure that what activity you're proposing is like something that you actually want to do, so that it's easier on you, because it's hard to like force yourself to do something, because like the teachers say that scale is not supposed to feel like a wreck because it's like
It's not supposed
something
to
that you're
feel,
having fun with.
yeah,
But I guess like a lot of people are kind of forced to just like do anything
Uh-huh,
just to fulfill the requirement. But yeah, just like make sure you
yeah.
plan it early. Coordinate always with your
advisor.
advisor. I was lucky to have like a really organized advisor. So yeah, it went well for me. But yeah, there are some advisors that might not be able to like always track down your progress. So you make sure you have that down. Yeah, make sure you like try your best to finish early because it's gonna be really hard to cram it, especially if your advisor is gonna be
That's
strict about it.
true. Be familiar with your advisor and like be sure to talk to them about what you want.
As long as it's, because as long as it's something you like doing or interested doing, chances are you'll already have like initiated something even before you've intentionally planned things for your own scale. So
Mm.
one nice thing about scale is that it doesn't have to be a new project. It could be something that you could have been doing this entire time, and you
Yeah,
just have to document it, and
yeah.
you don't have to do anything new for it.
Moving on from that, someone asked like, mahirap po ba sa Pisay? Pinapressure po ba kayo ng mga teachers? And for the
No.
first question, yeah, yes,
Yes.
it's definitely hard, but no,
But
the teachers don't pressure us.
not, no,
Not
not
It's
really.
Yeah.
definitely not like that. They're more supportive than anything. Kaya siya mahirap is because of, I guess, like
But
the curriculum
yeah,
and
and
also
yun
like
nga,
the grading system. Yeah,
it's just generally adjusted
yeah,
to make it more,
rigorous.
yeah,
Yeah.
appropriate for the supposed level of that Pisay people are on.
The next question was like, any tips for STEM seniors?
As you're going through your STEM course and like kahit high school pa lang, just find something you like. Find
Mm.
something you're interested in. More often than not, it will be your own passion for your own topic that'll help you like finish that. Because as long as you love what you're doing, then I don't see a problem with that. There's nothing really more to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you
Uh,
guys are like looking for tips on like the college-ish part,
Transition. Yeah.
refer to our
Mm.
first video. But if you're just looking for like in general, then I guess like all I can say is that know your stuff. It really depends on like what school you go to, but like just in general, find yourself a support system on like try your best to manage your time well, and I guess like try your best. That's
Yes.
all I can
Yes.
say.
Okay. I think we can go to like the last question now. A lot of people were asking like how we manage our stress, like if we have like study tips or how we deal with distraction.
There's no clear cut way to answer that. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's definitely different for each person. I don't know, like the things that we might say might not work for you. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. But basically like from what we learned in Pisay, I think we definitely wait, this sounds bad, but like we became really good at cramming things,
Yeah.
which is like the opposite of actually managing our time. But sometimes there's just
Yeah.
no other way to like do your
Ideally, you'll
recs.
never have to go a life without
Yeah.
cramming. But to
But
us,
yeah.
it is a lifeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just keep experimenting with random things because
Yeah.
with it, like eventually, eventually you'll be able to find something that works for you. Just make
Mm.
sure that you're not risking a lot when you're trying a lot of different methods, a lot of different like time schedules for you. Just make sure that you're comfortable. Your comfort and like your health is what comes first.
What I personally do to not get distracted is I get my distractions out of the way first.
True.
Mm,
True.
Or
Very
like if
true.
not, or if like if I don't have enough time to get like all of the stuff away first, I personally multitask. Like what I
Mm.
usually do in like what becomes my like really productive study sessions is like I have split screen and like on one side I'm watching something while I'm like doing school stuff. And like for most people that might not work because most people probably can't like do two things at the same time. But like for me it works. So like that's what I do.
Hmm. For me, I'm like the opposite of Kay. Like, I mean, we're the same in that we get like our distractions done with first, you know. But I can't multitask, or at least if I multitask, I do things a lot slower. So I prefer to just like focus on just one rec at a time. Yeah, like I just set like a timer on an app or something, and then I just do recs for that whole period. And then once I'm done, I think it's like easier to do other things that you want to do in the day when you're not like thinking of the recs that you haven't done yet. Obviously,
That is
this
quite
doesn't
true.
happen like all the time.
yeah.
Like I still get distracted, especially now that it's like online classes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what works for me personally.
For me, I think this is kind of weird, but whenever I have a lot of like moments in the day where I'm just like all of like the things that I have to do start flooding in. Like I suddenly remember that I have like a presentation due next week and I still have to do this homework that's due tomorrow and things like that. Rather than get started on it right away, what I do is like force myself not to think about it. I literally distract myself, like I play a game or I watch one video just so that I can empty my mind because it's easier for me to start things one by one if I just have like an empty mind, no thoughts, head empty.
Mm.
like like I will force myself, like if it's gonna be like a hell week for me and I'm like the night before like 85 deadlines, I will force myself to like not think about it and do something traditionally not productive for like I don't know, like 30 minutes. And then when after that time is done, I'm finally, I feel my body's relaxed and I can actually realize where my priorities stand more.
Mm.
So yeah.
I think like what all three of us do though is that we plan. Like even though it's in like different ways, we still plan what we need to do for the day, for the week, or whatever. I think that like really helps talaga. Just like get a notebook or something and write it down. And then because like seeing that, like seeing all the things that you have to do, it kind of already gets you motivated to like cross them off. And it's
Mm,
really satisfying to like cross everything off your list.
sometimes I just make a lot of really tiny, small tasks that I know I can do so that I feel productive. And that
Yeah.
fake productivity makes me
Well, there's also
actually
like the
productive.
Yeah, yeah.
we do. Well, there's also like we have like study sessions sometimes. Like we just
Ah,
hop
yeah.
on like a voice call and like study separately, but like we talk while it happens. So we
Yeah.
don't stop basically. Like we're forced to keep studying
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the other two are studying, so you have to keep going.
Yeah.
It's like friendly pressure. No
Yeah.
big deal.
I think like what we got from Poseidon is definitely like the importance of being able to ask for help talaga. To you guys then, like kanina I was asking about my math homework. There's just some times that you just need to like ask someone for
Yeah.
help.
You need like
Like
a
kanina,
different
like yeah, like
perspective.
if you overlook something that you might normally not have like made pansin, or if they have like other tips that they can share, I think it really like helps.
It's
No
always
matter
like
how dumb it is, it's better to
go
go.
like
It's
help.
better to be sure.
Good luck everyone with
Good
like
luck.
Yeah.
your
Have
requirements and
try to have
modules.
fun.
Yeah, this
Try
will all
your
be
best.
over soon, hopefully. Please. Oh my
Hopefully.
god. Okay, those were all the questions and assumptions that we got. I am really sorry if we like didn't answer your question. It might be because it's not related to this video or it's already something that we've covered in the past. But yeah, if you have like any more questions, just comment them down below and we'll do our best to like answer them. And if you have like suggestions for future like videos, yeah, leave a like if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Click the notification bell.
subscribe
Oh my
to the
god.
channel.
Thank you so much for watching this video and staying till the end. Stay tuned for more videos from us in the future, hopefully. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy, stay safe.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.